Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a flesh and blood podcast, breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Darick and Logan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 247 of Flesh and Pod. My name's Logan. I'm your host. With me, as always, is, well, most of the time, depending on if he gets drug off to some far-flung location to cast a game that he actually plays, Charmer. And joining us today is Pro Tour Las Vegas top 4 competitor. You get to have that on your resume. Jonathan Magnuson. JMags, thank you so much for joining us this week on kind of the eve of calling KC to tell us where we're just idiots. Speaking of this, anybody that listened to the end of the show a couple weeks ago would know, we had deck boxes that you could buy and get a Drinking Buddy promo. So it's $20, got you a Flesh and Pod deck box and a Drinking Buddy promo, courtesy of GamerGoblin.gg. Well, I then announced it in the Discord like 2 days ago, not even 2 days ago. And we sold out of the ones with the promo. So oops, but congratulations to everyone that's in the Discord, and congratulations to people who listened to the end of the show 2 weeks ago. However, I would like to point out that the deck boxes themselves are still available. So if you do want to represent your degeneracy at tournaments, you can buy a Flesh and Pod deck box at GamerGoblin.gg. And you never know, if you show up with one at an event and say, hey, I missed the Drinking Buddies promo, I might have something to give you. Who knows? Darick won't, because he doesn't go to events, but I might. But at any rate, again, JMags, thanks for coming. How are you doing, buddy? Have you done anything in Flesh and Blood? I figure you two are the same because it's just all kids all the time, and my child is 23.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always practicing for funsies, but yeah, I definitely have not done anything serious since Pro Tour. Life's been good. A little bit busy, as always with kids, but just during off seasons, I try not to stress about the game. So I've just been playing whatever hero seems fun at the moment in what time I have while the kids are taking their naps. And then crossing my fingers that Kasai lives to Kansas City.
Yes, did live. Yep. So we're good.
So now I'm going to go to Kansas City. I wasn't going to go unless Kasai was going to be legal. But I basically was like, 2 weeks ago, I was like, man, it would be nice to be able to go and play Kasai one more time. So I messaged the grandparents, like, can you watch the kids so that I can go drive to Kansas City? And they said yes. So very thankful to them. But
yes, Kasai living was definitely the reason I'm going to Kansas City regardless. But the reason I hadn't registered for the calling was because if Kasai was dead, I probably wouldn't have. I would have just played Runeblade and Warrior Cube the entire time. And because I have a Runeblade, a Cube, and a Warrior Cube, so I might as well just Cube draft the entire weekend at that point. But they will be with me anyway, because Friday, I ain't doing shit. But now that she's alive, one more run. One more
time.
One more. Darick, you didn't do anything in Flesh and Blood, right? You just did your normal.
I cried over a bunch of flight prices.
Oh, that's normal for you. Yeah. Which is the wild thing to me is your flight prices have been getting way worse, and you live in a hub.
I know.
And I live in Des Moines, fucking Iowa, which is nothing. And I'm $200 cheaper than you.
I think if I'm being entirely honest, it's because even though I live in a hub, it is becoming more like blessing / curse, because anything that is like Delta Hub to Delta Hub or large airport from my hub, then it's fine. So LAX, Detroit to LAX, Detroit to New York, Atlanta is dirt cheap, things like that. DC, but that's actually, instead of going through Detroit, I would just go through Lansing. There's a ton from Lansing to DC because of, government. Politics, government. But if it's outside of those, then, and to Chicago, there's like a ton of flights to Chicago, obviously.
Chicago doesn't count.
But literally like anything else, they're all expensive in part because they require me to go through Chicago. I'm seeing more and more and more that my direct flights are shrinking. And if I'm trying to go anywhere, it's almost always like a hop to Chicago first. It's like basically Delta is cornering the market even further to my detriment.
Well, Minneapolis is also a Delta hub. So,
yeah, Minneapolis is usually easy-ish.
Yeah. But I mean, except for, nationals or not nationals. Yeah, nationals this year, where you're just like, oh, it's too expensive for me to get to Minneapolis, which was wild.
Well, it was like $600 or something like that.
That's wild. I agree with that. For me, it was get in my car, get on one road, drive for like
if I lived on the other side of the lake, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah, or that lake's a bitch.
If I could drive straight across the lake, it wouldn't be a problem.
Have you tried? With Stark in the car.
I'm not taking the ferry because fuck that
I didn't say that.
That
hate those are not the words.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just letting you know. If you're somebody who's listening and you're like, isn't there a ferry? The answer is no. Yes, technically there is a ferry, but there's not a ferry. We don't talk about the ferry.
I heard we don't talk about Tough Ferry, which is very funny because we don't talk about Tough Ferry on this show. But I know you said we don't talk about the ferry, which also has its own weird congruence in different places. You should probably just not say shit like that.
Why?
Never mind.
My wife reads a ton of like fae smut, so I'm allowed to talk shit about fairies.
Oh no!
Is it Chuck Tingle?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
She doesn't read the highbrow stuff.
Are you familiar with Chuck Tingle, John?
No.
Oh God. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of background. He's an actual author that does write things that are halfway decent, but he makes all of his money writing Amazon smut. So let me see if I can find the names of some of these here in our reading Discord channel. Yeah, here's one. Turned gay by the existential dread that I may actually be a character in a Chuck Tingle book by Chuck Tingle. Lesbian Megalodon Shark Lifeguard Summer Butt Hunt by Chuck Tingle. What else do we got?
No.
Sentient Deep Dish Pizza Pounds Me in the Butt.
Wait. There's this beauty.
15 minutes or it's free. That's the rest I type.
Right, here we go. We are loving bisexuals and they are living bicycles.
This is why it's great. You don't have to read the book. You could just laugh about the titles. But yes, so that's what. Oh no!
Sorry, just because of the cover art is killing me. But there's Space Raptor Butt Ascension, but it's a shirtless man, and then behind him is a Velociraptor in a spacesuit.
Perfect. No notes.
These would make great Keyforge deck names.
You're not wrong. This is basically Keyforge. Well, there was a Flesh and Blood played this weekend, just not by us. There was a calling in Hamburg, Germany, won by Thomas Pyre on Dash.io against an Ocilio in the finals, Spellcilio. That is going to become relevant because in the top 8 of this were 5 Ocilios. A Dash, A Kasai, and A Marlin. So Kasai was dead from the jump in this top 8, and more than likely very difficult to be able to beat both versions of Ocilio. So it's not easy.
I'd contest that, but I'm also
you're more than welcome to. I mean, you probably are crazed. I'm digging for answers right now because I can beat one or the other consistently. I can't beat both.
Mm-hmm.
And then but obviously Dash being able to threaten boom grenade turns and continual pressure, if they just can't kill them, like the end of this one, spoiler alert if you haven't watched the end of it or want to and don't want me to tell you what happens, although you know who the winner is, the deciding turn really was the Ocilio player drawing up, and Ocilio player has a blue, they win the game on the spot. There was no blue in their hand. And so Thomas executed the turn perfectly, knowing they're going to draw multiple cards and that there was a balance of justice that could possibly find them a blue, but making sure to threaten the life total to get the cards out of the hand before triggering the card draws. to make sure that balance still wouldn't save them.
Mhm.
So really well executed. I mean, it sounds simple when you say it, but in the heat of those moments, like, it's easy to fuck up, right? And just forget that balance is possible out if they're just waiting on it. So again, congratulations to Thomas. Sad that we didn't get more points on Acilio, but it is what it is. And Acilio is going to be around for probably a while still. But what do you make of this, John, being the one that actually puts up results in tournaments, with this much Acilio going into an event?
I mean, I don't put too much stock on any one given top 8. I mean, Acilio is obviously one of the best 2 decks. It's like Acilio and Mario. And I think that especially at a calling, and especially with the continued problem of you don't know which deck you're playing against, it's not surprising to see that many in top 8. And it's just such a good deck, and more players have had time to adopt it now. I feel like there was, it showed up at Nats, and then people kind of saw it's like, oh, there are a couple different versions, and then people kind of wrote it off after the remembrance ban, or there's like everything changes, and people are just kind of like, whatever. And now it's like, oh, it's really good again at Pro Tour. So then, it's just the adoption rate is ticking back up, and you're going to see it continue to get more and more results.
Yeah, it sounds right. It was interesting going into this event that Acilio was the most played deck. I believe there were 70 copies in the field. But there were 73 copies of Warrior of different varieties. Hala, Kasai, Dorinthia, Olympia. There was quite a bit of Olympia. And Fang, all having enough representation to pile up a big number. So I think that Warrior, for the first time ever, is quite possibly like an S tier option, which is weird to me because it's always been good at times, but not competing for best decks. And I think that that's a lot of Mastery Pack Warrior doing a ton of heavy lifting.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how much of that is just Mastery Pack excitement, but it's definitely between Kasai getting even more upgrades and Olympia being a real hero now. There's definitely a lot more viability in the Warrior class, so it's always good to see.
Yeah, I think that that's really interesting, and I'm hopeful that that will continue even when Kasai goes, which again, very very soon. There was a showdown. I don't know who cares about Sage really, but there was a showdown also in Hamburg, won by Florian Van Brackle on Acilio, and that
Sounds
top 8
about right.
was that top 8 was for Acilio. 2 Briar, a Chain, and an Oldham. So if you want to see which 3 heroes are probably getting benched, they're right here. It's the Acilios, the Briars, and the Oldham. People really aren't that scared of Chain anymore. So, okay. With that being said, our normal Living Legend check, which has Dash move up to the 2 spot at 950 points. Kasai's at 967, so next big event she wins, completely dead. Fi at 893, Marionette at 889, and Syndra at 880. Those are 5 decks that are very possibly going away in the next ProQuest season. Because, some of these I'm very happy to see gone. 2 of them I'm very unhappy to see gone. Because 2 of them are heroes that I play a lot.
I was going to say, I don't know that you play anything else.
I will play Viserai when
okay.
he releases. So I'll have a fallback in a few weeks. But right now, and it will be legal for ProQuest season, so I'll have something. But this is going to be a very big reset coming ahead of Worlds, which is the wild part. So Worlds kind of being the first big tournament after this entire dust settle reset and everything happens. So we're gonna talk about a couple of different things here. One of them being calling Kansas City. since we have somebody that actually knows what they're doing in the room with us. And then the other one being,
I'm sure our guest is knowledgeable as well. Don't be so rude.
you're such a fucking asshole. And the other one being what your world's meta would potentially look like without these 5. So let's start calling Kansas City first, because that is top of mind. A lot of the listeners, a lot of the fappers, yes, they call themselves that. They named themselves that. That wasn't us. That's them. Just want to make sure. No,
you chose your podcast name.
And yes, I do know what I was doing when it was chosen. Abby was very upset with me, but because the original version of the show, there was the original 2 hosts that weren't Charmer were my friends Jordan and Abby from Ohio, and Jordan and I shouldn't be allowed in public together, and Abby was our referee. Abby being Jordan's wife, and the when I'm like, we should call it Flesh and Pod, and they're like, oh yeah, it's a great name. I'm like, sweet, it's a great acronym too. And I remember Jordan just chortling, thinking it was the funniest thing, and Abby going, "You guys are such fucking children. I hate you." It's like, great, we did it. But yes, they started calling themselves fappers on like day 1. So I can't. No. It's been almost 5 years, so I can't stop it now. But at any rate, there'll be a lot of people there that are podcast listeners, and as well as just generally speaking, I think this is going to be an okay attended calling as far as North America callings go. Granted, it hasn't sold out like Atlanta or anything, but so let's start with kind of your baby in this case. Let's start with Betsy. You're not going to play Betsy.
Nah.
And I think I talked to a lot of people that were masters of the log or trying to be masters of the log in Las Vegas, and they also wouldn't play Betsy.
I mean, I don't think she's in that bad of a position, but it's just, I think at Las Vegas, there's the surprise factor where nobody's going to have any reps into you, which is like a significant advantage in this game. And without that advantage, it's just hard to pick the deck over one of the truly dominant heroes. Like, I think Betsy is pretty absurd in the sense that, like, she has the log, and the log is just stupid. It's so broken, the amount of power is contained in a weapon, which just starts there at the start of the game. But like, she has a lot of other issues, and that like her main deck cards are so weak outside of like CNC and Double Down. So, and once people have reps, it's like you're just not as good as the other top decks. I think that you could, if you like Guardian and you like playing the defensive consistent deck, I think that you could take her to top 8 at a calling, but I don't think that anybody should pick her up because they want to win the event. It'd be more of a flavor playstyle choice than anything.
So do you, when you're talking about dominant decks, I mean, obviously we talked about Acilio, we talked about Marionette, and without the surprise factor, are those just matchups that become way more difficult?
I mean, I think definitely Acilio gets a little bit harder. I think that Gone in a Flash Acilio, if they just have any copies of Cloud Cover in the deck, they can completely hose you on a Double Down, because they can cover up a CNC Double Down. So you can't play aggro into them if they have Cloud Cover. And then if you know that Betsy's just going to try to fatigue you, it's pretty easy to play around fatigue at the highest levels. Like, you can still lose. It happens, but it's just not a good feeling going into a game knowing you have zero agency.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then I think Mario's still fine. I think that Mario's will perform a lot better than they did at Vegas, having reps, but I still think that it's like 50-50 or better for you. I'd lean towards it being better than 50-50, but I haven't tested the matchup in a while, so
sure, just
been relaxing.
And then
I think you have so many tools to stay unmarked, and the threat of both killing and fatiguing is very real. So,
and then you have the warriors that exist now, obviously being another part of the equation.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, warriors being good at blocking in general, and it turns into sort of that bigger grind fest matchup in a lot of ways. So
Yeah,
I don't know
mean,
that
I
that's
still have a lot of faith in just like sledge fatigue, in
Yeah.
just the sense that if you're a lot of warrior values and on hits, and if you play well defensively, I think that you can beat them. But it's obviously, no more surprise factor. So
right. So, there is there a world where Acilio isn't the best deck? Like, are we just in a line because of, if nothing else, because of the fact that you're playing list chicken the entire time, where unless you're scouted, or you have a scouting sheet of all the Acilios in the room or all the Acilios that are in your pair bracket or pairing range, you're guessing which version it is. So is that enough of an edge to just keep Acilio as the best deck until it's gone?
I think it might be, if only because free wins in a tournament is a very big deal. Um, it's part of the reason why I brought Betsy to Las Vegas is I knew that if I played against any other Guardian or like a good 50% of the decks in the room, if I played against them, I just auto won. And it's just if you flip a coin in almost all of your matchups for an auto win, it's kind of insane for your chances of top 8ing. You don't have control over it, but if you just get lucky on that day and you hit 4 coin tosses, they present AB2, you're gone in a flash. They present armor and you're the spell Cilio. It's just like free win is a free win. I think it's particularly egregious right now in that hero's kit. So yes, I think that in that sense, they're definitely a very strong tournament deck.
Yeah, and luck in events is always necessary to win them. Like skill will win out, but you have to get lucky at some point.
Yeah. And I also just think that like Acilio, I could be wrong here, but Acilio is just one of those heroes where it doesn't really benefit you to have practice against them.
No, not at all.
There is like no, like Mario, it's like if a person has played 100 Mario games, they're going to perform so much better than if they played 5. But it feels like playing against Acilio, it doesn't matter if you played 100 games into Spellcilio. It's like, it's just the same old arcane wizardy thing going on. It's just like, there's not a lot of chances for outplaying them. So there's not a lot of edges to be gained outside of just like deck building, but then you can't deck build properly because you don't know what they're presenting into you.
Right.
So
it reminds me of Blitz Skeleton Viscerae, where it didn't matter. Like reps into it were pointless.
Yeah.
They were going to make 1,000 rune chance you have to kill them before they can Sonata you to death. That was it.
They click the button. They show you an instant on top. You're like, oh, you have an Astral Bridge in hand, don't you?
Neat.
And then all of a sudden, Astral Bridge. Oh, it hit. It's like, cool.
Weird.
I died.
Jesus. Yeah, I think that's the most frustrating part right now is, and we have listener questions around this too. But man, it does start to feel like, and I saw this blow up on social media, which come the fuck on people. But somebody was saying that they weren't going to go to events because of the fact that scouting is a mandatory thing if you want to win the event now. And I remember back playing Magic tournaments where once we were, past halfway through, a day one, we started scouting, like gathering who's on what and things that we saw so that we could make sure it's like, I'm paired against this person in this round. Okay, here's what I saw. Like that's been around forever. That isn't new in card games whatsoever and isn't illegal.
Round 3 is when you should know all of the important bits. No later than that. Every playtest group should have one designated aggro player.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they should enjoy the play style, but one designated aggro player whose job is to win or lose as fast as possible and then get the info to the rest of your team.
That was me, by the way. It was
not guy. Me. It was my friend Zach back when I played Magic.
Yeah, I was that guy.
I was the dirty blue-black player. He played goblins.
I played, I played Affinity and Christ and Standard.
Oh, yeah.
Or I played horrifying combo decks,
so
that win immediately or lose immediately.
when Affinity was in standard, even before like it was good. Granted, it rose to prominence after around.
I don't remember it ever not being good. So
No. Before the deck I'm about to say became good, I was still on it, even like pre some of the Affinity bans. So I was playing 12 post control.
Yeah, of course you were
during that time.
You're a terrible human.
And I would tooth and nailed to just find 2 Viridian Shaman, and sometimes that was enough to win the game.
God, you're the worst.
Yep, that was the kind of person I was.
Yep. It's not as bad as Blue Black Teachings, which was you sat down across your opponent and you set a length of rope on the table and the instructions to tie a noose. And the goal was to see how long before they just quit the game, because you had a way to win, but they had no way to win.
Oh man.
So
Kamigawa block, my favorite thing in the world, was to run green black ramp Kakusho Death Cloud. So my goal was,
yeah, but that's fun.
It's fun for one person. It's
it
great.
Doesn't matter about the other person,
right? When they have no cards, no creatures, and no lands,
no permanents.
and I and nothing, and I have stuff
and 35 life.
Yeah. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, by the way, I am in fact eating cookies because I couldn't wait till we get to that segment. So you just get to watch me eat. But good news.
I should go grab Josh Scott chocolate just to be an asshole.
Listen, life is just a mukbang.
You don't want to be caught at the top of the food chain. Caught alone at the top of the food chain. By the way, John, it's a callback joke. That was one of the songs I was playing. We cast German nationals the last 2 years. And in both cases, we've had somebody removed for cheating on camera. So, we're cursed. But in the in-betweens, they were playing music, like license-free, like royalty-free music in between rounds. And one of the songs was a song called Mukbang. And this is what it was. So now every now and again, we just have to be reminded that life is just a mukbang.
Apparently.
But so you're a Kasai gamer in Kansas City, and I approve this message because I also will be a Kasai gamer in Kansas City. And I don't approve of you winning now, but I do approve of you losing in the finals. You okay with that?
I mean, that would be fun.
Okay. As long as you're good with that, we'll be okay.
I'm pretty chill about the tournament. I don't care if I scrub out or get first. I just want to go play Kasai one last time. So.
Do you want to get barbecue with us afterwards?
Depends on when. I got to get back.
Well, you have Saturday and Sunday. I'm assuming you're staying.
I think I'm driving back on Sunday, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you'll be there Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll have time for barbecue.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fine. That's our, like, one of our mandatories is just there's got to hit up a couple of barbecue spots while we're in KC. We did get a bunch of spoilers, but first, this showed up like literally just now. Silver Age voting is coming back to a theater near you. Opens on September 14th, September 13th Eastern Daylight Time at 8 a.m, and then closes on September 15th, which is my birthday, at 8 a.m. So if you have a vote, which Charmer probably doesn't, just please exercise it responsibly and vote for Oldham. That is all. Whatever. You didn't need that.
He's a cool guy.
No, not... Okay, terrible.
Literally.
Don't ever do that again. Yeah, don't ever do that again. But our friend...
he seems really down to earth.
So like it was weird because I was on this entire, I know, vote for Kano train in my brain until we had Eswardi Therianto on, friend of the podcast, goated, fab artist. And we were talking about Silver Age voting, and he gave the best rationale for why you should vote Oldham and completely changed my vote. So I'm going to continue to vote Oldham until he has a seat on the bench, mainly because if his argument was that Silver Age should be your best onboarding format, and trying to explain to players how Oldham works, especially new players, is wildly frustrating. because I pitched this card, so you're going to put a card from your hand on top of your deck. Okay, we'll do the thing. Well, prevent one of that. Okay, we'll do this thing, or prevent one. Okay, do this thing, prevent one, and it's really frustrating. People hate it, and it's like, oh, by the way, here's some frostbites because those are fun. Everybody loves repeatable ghostly prison tactics. So
pace and pitch or discard a card.
Little side tangent. I'm sorry, but apparently you guys get LSS to do things. So
on occasion,
LSS you need to errata frostbite. This will fix your ice talent completely. You errata frostbite to say cards cost one more. So you can activate abilities without having to deal with the frostbites. And then there's just way more counterplay. You can use your little tunic resource to pay for one frostbite. And instead of one frostbite trading for an entire card from your hand, it just trades for one value off of your tunic. And that is just how frostbites should have been from the get-go. And then if you really get completely hammered, okay, I have 4 frostbites, at least I can swing my weapon. It is so much less feels bad to be like, not again. I guess I'll swing my, whatever weapon you happen to have in play, or
paying like 12 to do it.
Yeah, it's instead of like literally just getting your turn auto passed, like you have so much more counterplay if you can activate abilities through
Interesting.
Frostbite. And it I think especially in combination with tunic and weapons, I think it helps you not have frostbites trade up for entire cards too often.
Yeah, I also think that because I'm the most anti-errata person in history. I despise errata. Cards should do what they say they do, but I have a lot more lenience towards tokens. It's really easy to errata a token, and just ship out tokens.
You release a new ice set, and here's the new frostbite token. Everybody gets one.
Yeah,
it's easy.
Put one in every pack. Who cares?
The armory promos have a
it has
frostbite.
a marble frostbite, right? I think
we need more thaw effects.
To just melt ice, to melt frostbites.
Like, I understand why it was on a Majestic, because it would have impacted limited play at the time, but just more cards that essentially at least do the frostbite portion. Doesn't have to do all 3 modes of what Thaw did, but if you've got a number of draconic cards or even just fire themed cards and they've got some sort of thing on them where you can banish it to get rid of a frostbite or whatever, I'm down.
Sure. I don't hate any of this. But I also don't think, I think that frostbites are just kind of the most miserable form of gameplay in Flesh and Blood. So I do like the idea of being able to like still do stuff and rather than, again, you're right. It is auto passing your turn. It feels like shit.
It also removes the most egregious play pattern of Stalagmite, which is like, oh, I see you're attacking with Go again. Let me put Stalagmite out here to prevent you from swinging your weapon. That is very clearly coming next.
Right.
The back of the days where it's always like, oh, he's going to end on Rosetta Thorn this line. Stalagmite. Block 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A block 6 shield. Great. Anything else you want to discuss about calling Kansas City before we talk about Worlds a little bit?
I think Kasai is sick. She's in a really good position.
Kasai is disgusting. The card Raised Blades is egregiously good. And oopsie daisy.
Yeah. There are a couple other bangers in the set too.
There
really
are. Yes, there are a bunch of them that I could start naming. Sadly, I didn't open up enough foils of all of them to play all the ones I wanted to, but that's okay. I will live without. You
can't give up the competitive advantage of shining it in your opponent's eye. I get you.
It has to match. Like, it has to match, or else my OCD will just never forgive me. Luckily, I have foil copies of Raised Blades, so we're good.
I know that you were giving me a hard time for covering other games at the start of the broadcast, but the guy that just won in Barcelona playing Riftbound in his rune deck plays exactly one all art rune.
Sweet.
I'm
also good on him for not going to the hospital with heat exhaustion.
Well, yeah, that too, but
because
I just know that that's like right up the alley of driving you nuts. Like, the only thing that makes that worse is if he was like eating sour cream from the tub.
Dear God, that's fucking demon semen. No one should eat that shit.
It's so good.
That's so disgusting. But
Wait, you don't like sour cream?
dear God, no. It's
That's-
the worst substance that anybody ever invented.
Really?
He's just categorically wrong.
It's horrible.
It's so good. It's like
what is
amazing.
endearing about sour cream? What is endearing
Cream?
about eating
Cream, anything is
Sour
just
and
spoiled
it's cream.
something?
I like
Yeah.
sour foods. I like creamy foods. It's sour and cream. I don't know what's not to
The
get.
state of food security in the United States right now, and you want to eat something that is intentionally spoiled, shit, they're doing that for you, but not expecting anything.
Dude, I live in Michigan, like ground zero for Cyclospora. It's safer to eat the spoiled food.
Well, I mean, if you just get Taco Bell, no lettuce,
I'm an
it's gonna have
hour
the
away
same
from
result
Flint
anyway.
that still doesn't have drinkable water.
Well,
Give
that's
me
been
the
for like
sour
30
cream.
years,
Like, we're
so-
built different over here, all right?
Of course you are. We all have our crosses to bear. I live in Cancer Alley.
Yep.
And you live
And
in
corn sweat.
Corn sweat is the bane of my existence. I was actually having this discussion today with friends. I'm like, if I was a Riftbound player, would have gone to Barcelona, I would have had a distinct advantage over the rest of the room because I'll play 18 holes of golf when it's 110 degrees out and not die. So like my brain would not melt in 87-degree heat. I just be like, yeah, this is fine. We're good here. You can't see me. So that would have been an advantage, but I don't play that game because I don't think it's enjoyable. So talking about Worlds a little bit though. I mean, obviously, are you gonna go, John? Are you planning on making it there?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Your shiny PTI from
Yeah,
Las Vegas.
Yeah, and of course the prize winnings paying for the trip is a pretty big deal. So I have relatives in Morocco that we might try to visit first, and then so it's the only reason I haven't purchased tickets yet is I have to figure out the family stuff too. But,
Right. Yep.
But yeah, it'll be fun.
But looking at the possibility of Dash, Kasai, Phi, Marionette, and Syndra all being gone. Acilio likely still alive. And then obviously throw in the Shadow Throne heroes. Well, Leviah exists, but Leviah is going to be very different for reasons we'll discuss. But throwing in Malice, which just seems to be fixed gravy bones at this point, and Viscerai, which seems like we're just going to send a hero S tier immediately. What do you think? And obviously don't give away any sauce, but what do you think this is all going to look like? Is it still going to be Acilio's world? Or is there enough coming from what we've seen so far to make you think that Acilio will be good, but won't necessarily be the auto deck for anybody not named Majin Bay?
I mean, I think that Shadow Runeblade has enough tools to deal with arcane damage that don't sacrifice much, that they don't have to deal with the sideboarding issue. It's like you run some blues in your deck, you present AB2 chest and like AB1 clubs, or maybe you present like wand and AB1. It's like, look, you have AB3 and you can still play the game into both versions. It'll be fine. And I think that the hero looks strong enough that it should be more than good enough to knock Acilio on a peg. But who knows?
I mean, at this point, it's conjecture mainly because we haven't seen the entire set or anything when it comes to Usurp the Shadow Throne. But we've seen quite a bit. And there are parts that look very, very pushed. I thought it's very funny when people were specifically, we'll get to talking about Apex Buster, but all I saw was people like, yeah, Apex Buster is going to bust a bunch of Kasai's Dynamos. I'm like, Kasai won't be legal. Like, what are you talking about? No. And, but although Apex Buster would have been really good for that, but, I guess like from my vantage point, Wizards always have their weaknesses, and I think right now we're in a spot where the only mean, obviously Dash IO is an incredible aggro deck when it comes to just presenting a number that's really hard for a deck that doesn't have cards to block with to deal with. And they can only play so many D-reacts and still keep enough damage in deck to make, a difference. So after Dash, I don't feel like anything is fast enough right now. And I think that loss of aggro means you need decks with enough tools. And I think that is where you're right. That's where Viscerai or Shadow Runeblade in general, because Vincett's probably going to be way more playable too. That's where those types of heroes are going to have a better shot into bigger events like that, where the meta is more condensed.
Yeah, Vincett's an interesting one. I don't know if she'll be viable at all if Viscerai is playable. Because I think Viscerai is probably going to be a lot better in the mirror.
Probably.
At which point, you're going to need a real good reason to not just run Viscerai.
Yeah.
But which I, fingers crossed, I'm really hoping Vincett isn't good because it'd be fun to play Ziggy.
Oh, sure.
So
and Vincett says no to virtually everything Ziggy does.
Yeah, Vincett. I am a massive anti-fan of the ruling around prevention effects in Ward.
Oh, that it just pops all of them?
I just think it's the dumbest thing in the world that you're like, who would win? 5 million angels on your board or one Vincett ping? The answer is one Vincett ping.
Well,
I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. I think it should just be like, okay, you designate which ward is going to blow up, and then it blows up. And the rest doesn't have to blow up. You still get all the damage. But I'm really not a fan of, I don't know what to call them, but like absurdity mechanics. Where it's just like, there's no need
non-flavorful
for this to...
Yeah, I think it's very flavorful.
Of course you do. Well, I hate illusionists as much as you do. So
somebody is trying to pierce through the illusions, and all of the illusions are throwing themselves in front of this magic spear,
like wacky waving on inflatable tube people.
Right? They're doing this trying to sell you a used car, but you're not buying it. And then
there's 5 million angels. How long are we going to sit here as each angel jumps in front of this one spear? I'm here for 2 months.
I mean, it's a long time, but CC games are 55 minutes. I'm sure that we can do a montage. It'll be fine. But
yeah,
I get the flavor loss there, but I hate illusionists enough that I think this really needs to say exactly what it is.
I don't even call it a flavor loss. I just think it's a gameplay loss. I'm not a fan of anytime cards trade up potentially infinite value. Or like, near enough to it. It's like, I don't think a card should ever trade for like 5 cards. It's just like, I think if that ever happens, like something failed. I think that like, it usually leads to more anti-fun than it leads to like good gameplay. So like one of my prime examples would be like Warmonger's Diplomacy. I think is just the dumbest card in the world. It's like, there's... LSS has just decided that some classes have non-attack actions in them and they swing weapons. And Warmongers is a blue block 3, delete your entire turn card at random. Mm-hmm. We don't know if this is actually going to do anything. It's like, oh, my hand is Blade Flurry, Blood Follows Blade, a blue, another Blade Flurry. It's like, oh, you did nothing.
Sick. Yeah,
right?
We're doing great.
The next time it's like, my hand is Draw Swords, Unsheathed, Slice and Dice, and a blue. And now I swing for 2. Right. And there's just no benefit to the game for having that mechanic exist. I just think it's a
net loss, basically.
It's just like, there's all sorts of these little things that exist in Flesh and Blood. I'm just like, why do we want this to be here?
Sure. I mean, to be fair, they kind of exist in card games. That's just been that way forever in anything I've ever played. Outside of the things that are usually the first set of every card game is the least egregious since Christ, then early 2000s, because people spend years now developing those sets instead of throwing. Well, I think that 1 mana for 3 cards is logical. Instead, that person has a doctorate, by the way. But I think that at this point in time, like, people have gotten through that and understand that. And when they build first sets, like, you think about WTR, right? There's one super egregious, this card should never existed card in Welcome to Wraith, and Drone of Brutality is a mistake. But ultimately, the set otherwise is super well thought out. But again, he developed it for like 11 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like your cycles shrink progressively. So things just make it through without thinking about it as much. And you ship things like Warmonger's Diplomacy or Codex of Frailty.
I mean,
see, Codex I'm more okay with than Warmongers.
Oh my God.
Codex.
I don't think that it's like not thinking about it as much as it is just trying to ensure that catch-up mechanics exist and trying to ensure that ways that you can inject more player decision and agency in the game exist. Like the ward popping thing to me is, in my opinion, an example of don't overextend, right? Like if you know that there's a way that all of these can be blown up, then just don't give the opponent the ability to do so. And if you overextend, there should be an avenue to punish that. Otherwise, the games are just over because you know that there's no way they can come back from a board state that big if it has to be like a card for card or a card for 2 or whatever, right? There needs to be something that can punish the greed. And I am a big fan of those types of things because it should be a decision and not just, I slam every angel I see because what are you going to do about it?
I think you can have that and you have it eat up that much ward. And then there you go. It's like Jagged Edge. It's like my weapon hit you for 6 and now 6 of your ward goes away for nothing. But it shouldn't take away 200 ward.
But if you got the 200 ward, you had to play out 200 ward.
Right. My whole point is like, if you got to 200 ward and that if something doesn't exist to get rid of it, then the game's also just over. Like 200 ward shouldn't be a thing either way. Like the game should just be over.
Yeah, sure. But I just think that the Vincent thing is dumb. It's 1 damage, but
it is okay for you to think that it's dumb. I'm not arguing. I'm simply saying that I don't think it's dumb because I think that I didn't like playing through gain a billion health, right? That was an unfun play pattern for me. And ward is essentially gain a billion health in the future. And so if I don't have a way that I can circumvent that as a player, like I don't want to play into that either. I think that's dumb.
I just think you need to print ways that don't break game mechanics. Because when you break game mechanics,
it's working as designed by their rule set.
So like what I mean by game mechanics is cards getting a certain amount of value against my cards getting a certain amount of value. Mm-hmm. And if your card for some reason generates 10 cards worth of value, something went wrong in the game.
Well, sure, but if you've played 10 angels and you've done nothing else with them, then that's bad, like, board management. You have to have gotten additional value from the angels other than I just play these angels and end my turn.
Yeah,
like it's not 1 for 10 in that regard. It is 1 for a lot less than 10 because you've already gotten some value and you're trying to get more value because Flesh and Blood is not inherently a board state based game. It is meant to be a 4-card hand with a one-time use, and angels already inherently break that. So if we're going to talk about design things where you're supposed to do 1 for 1 card, any ally, anything that sits on the board and gets additional value beyond the play already breaks it. So I'm a big fan of just fucking those right in the ass. That's what I'm a big fan of. Just bend the illusions over, tear those wings off, and slit the throats of those wannabe angels because I'm tired of seeing them. I don't want them attacking me. I don't want them preventing damage. I want them in the discard pile the way that everybody intended. That's what No, jokes aside, though, like I do think that is inherently why that is allowed to exist, because I do think a lot of the word cards are just designed to get you and then, right? We see very few ward cards that are just like, I just play ward, right? It's always ward and then. And so I think that's meant to mitigate it, jokes aside.
Yeah, I think Award is just one example though of it in the game, and it's just I think the problem when you have these mechanics that trade very very high in card mechanics is that it ruins the fun of the game for the people who are attached to these class identities.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
example, Codex of Frailty against weapon decks.
Yeah,
it's just like
listen. I'm an assassin fan, and we're the biggest offender. And it's not just Codex. Like, I love playing Huntsman, but Hunter or Hunted like feels awful when it hits the best cards in your deck. Like if I'm playing against a brute and I hit somebody's like Bellows with my first Hunter or Hunted, it's like, why even play the game at that point? You know, like, and I fully understand that.
How do you feel about the card's sense weakness then?
It's much more reasonable because you have to do damage. You can interact with it in a normal way. I put D-Reax and Armor in my deck, right?
In Gravy Bones? Like, I guess some. But like Gravy makes a million allies and gets sensed out.
And he starts with Armor. You can run Base of the Mountain.
You can. Right? I mean, you can choose to do that.
I just think that like it's the I think sense weakness is a good example of a counter because it doesn't just happen. There's counterplay to it, and ultimately it's a very expensive effect. Now, if sense weakness costs 0 and did the same thing that it did, then it would be a very dumb counter. It would be like Warmongers. Blue block 3 costs 0.
Because I don't know. Did you ever play Magic? I guess I don't even know.
No, I never.
Okay, because it seems like you're making the argument against Wrath of God, and
I mean, a lot of people do, Logan, and I don't fault them for it.
And because Wrath of God was a 1-card 4-mana board wipe, symmetrical, so it did both players. But if they overextended and you didn't, you just got a 1-for-7 and walked on and went on with your life. It seems like that's the type of thing that you would hate, but that card.
It depends on the game that it exists in.
I mean, it's a board state game.
Because in card games like Magic, where you're drawing up a certain amount of cards each turn and then you're holding on to cards, there's a little bit more space for hand trappy things or gotcha moments. There's a lot more space for having that in your game design. But I think gotcha moments in Flesh and Blood is just so feels bad because each hand is like you're playing that value against your opponent's hand value. And then when it's just like, oh, I got the gotcha this time, it doesn't feel earned. Because you can't play around Warmongers. I can't hold a reaction, 3 reactions in my hand for the whole game for when you deploy Warmongers against me. I got 1 Arsenal slot to try to deal with Warmongers. I'll put a go again in Arsenal when I can, but it's not. It's if we could hold counters in our hand to your counters, then I think that those type of things become a lot more reasonable. But when counters are just getting deployed as soon as you draw them into random cards of your opponents, it's just not a very satisfying thing in the game.
I think I deserve a refund then for every time that I've been killed by multiple Steel Blade shunts in WTR Limited. It's been more than once. There was.
I think I need a refund for literally every one of my Tales of Aria drafts.
I can think of one instance where I got shunted twice in a turn, and that to kill me because I was at 2. I thought I was going to be safe to swing my weapon, and I got double shunted. Then Dagon triple shunted me. I pitched a blue and triple shunted me in limited because his 3 packs he opened, the rare were shunt in all of them, and he pitch stacked to kill me with triple shunt. Anyway. Let's talk about some spoilers and kind of get off this shit because now I'm depressing myself. We were about to talk about me getting regicided if I keep it up. But the first one that I want to talk about is Embrace Sin. So this is yellow 1 resource, block 2 because it's a rare, so it gets played in Sage. It seems like block 2 in Sage is fairly common. Your next attack this turn gets +2. Great. You may play an aura with Runechant in its name from your banish zone this turn. So that also just gives you a little bit of play for constructed, and it makes me wonder if they're going to be because there's Runechant Agreed as a majestic, and all the rest of them are commons, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So
well, but Oh,
So
yeah.
the sin, the sin chance.
Yeah. The sin chance. Yeah. It's 6 commons, and then greedy is, of course, the greedy one.
Yeah,
And it's
the one that
majestic.
draws cards is obviously the majestic. That's why the marvels for that are like $240. But I'm so glad that I bought those when I did. Josh Scott's the best for that. But this just seems like a quality ad, honestly, for a Runeblade deck, especially, I would say especially in Sage, where you can just extract the value from, because you'll probably play the common rune chance more. But I guess that's my take on it. I don't know if anybody else has anything different to say.
I personally see this as a card that is going to be a facilitator for Sage for Viserai. The fact that this is a rare feels very intentional to me, and the fact that 6 of the 7 are also commons means that they at least expect some people to want to do that in the Sage environment.
Yeah.
I need to see more Sinchant payoff before I believe in it, but it seems fine for Sinchants.
Yep. And especially if there are more rare usurp cards like Vexing Gloomblade. See, that's what they call a segue in the industry. So this is a rainbow, cost 3, block 3, Shadow Runeblade action attack. You may play this from your Banish Zone, has Blood Debt, has Usurp. So Usurp will give it the +2. So it's a 5 base, but becomes a 3 for 7 if you Usurp. When this hits a hero, deal 2 arcane damage to any target. So potentially a 3 for 9. That's quality. This is the type of shit that Darick wants to pummel.
Yeah.
It'd be a 3 for 8 because you eat your own rune chant usually. But it's also from Banish, so
yeah,
that's broken.
It's good.
I love that all these usurp cards just say you can play from Banished. There's no you have to play non-attack first, you have to do this. It's
you just get to do
it makes the cards a lot more playable.
Yeah, we just get to do the thing. It's great. We also have Bloodsong Gloomblade, which is, this one's only red, thank God. But it's a 0 cost. Again, you may play this from Banish Zone. Usurp 2 base, but if you usurp +2, so it's a 0 for 4 that blocks 3. When this hits a hero, you may banish target or a permanent they control. So you can just get one of their auras if they have anything that's important. I just like anything that I enjoy things that are that 0 for 4 pattern in Runeblade. I mean, basically let me play Briar if I'm going to play Runeblade. That's really where I'm going with that. But there are also a lot of really good auras that it can get into, so this is probably something that'll see play, is my guess.
It's hard, though. Runeblades are so A+B+C like deck building that it's hard to have sideboard slots for attacks that counter things, even if they're very good. Because it's like deck building wise, you usually end up with like, these are all the enablers and all the attacks, and then like your sideboarding slots are like very thin.
Mm-hmm.
And what they can actually afford to be. So I'd be surprised if you can run it outside of a really aura heavy meta. But it will be good, theoretically good in that situation. But it's just like
hitting a 9 Malefic meta isn't going to be that hard.
So I will say that I look at a card like this and just the sheer fact that you don't have to do anything special to play this from your Banished Zone tells me that this will see play somewhere. Even if it's just like Sage Chain, just so that you are increasing your Soul Shackles viability. Like, is it the greatest thing in the world, even if it's just a 0 for 2? No, but there are so many things that enable go again for anything that is Runeblade oriented or whatever. And even if it's a chain ender, just the ability to play it out of your Banish Zone, get rid of the Blood Debt, and also take advantage of some of those abilities tells me that this will find a home somewhere. It might not be in CC, but again, this being a rare tells me that it has a lot of potential in Sage.
Then we get Battle Prep. They just power Corrupt Whispers of the Oracle. That's all. It's the same card. It's 0 cost, op 2, generic action.
With it would have been fun in Kasai.
Oh god, it would have been so much fun in Kasai. But if this is played from Arsenal, your next attack this turn gets +3 on a red, +2 on a yellow, +1 on a blue. Like I said, just power Corrupt Whispers of the Oracle, really. There'd be no real reason to play Whispers over this I can think of. But yep, it's good.
I can think of no real reason to run Whispers.
Right.
Ever, so
Well, Blaze likes the opt. That's about it.
that's right.
Some Rangers like it. Like
Rangers aren't real anymore.
Sure, but I could see definitely a world where red battle prep finds its way into something, right?
Yeah, of course.
So again, these are rares, right? So Sage on the table, right? So like if I'm a really big Riptide fan, red battle prep probably looks pretty good for Riptide.
This isn't terrible in Briar either. Like it's not great, but it's not terrible.
Sure, but like Riptide in particular, because you can lead with your standard Ranger non-attack action, and instead of loading an arrow with your Riptide, you could load battle prep, and then by playing battle prep, load again from your Riptide ability.
I'm going to let the Guardian players talk about Crushing Headache. The 6 cost, 10 attack, 3 block red. Guardian attack action, that's a Majestic. Crush, when this deals 4 or more damage to a hero, they reveal their arsenal and hand. Destroy all non-attack action cards in both.
It's broken. Straight broken.
So good.
It's
so good. When it was
It's-
revealed, I put in our Discord, this has so much juice.
It's so the fact that it hits hand and arsenal is kind of insane. It means that even against decks that it's not normally good against, it's like, well, you arsenaled your Blood Rush Bellow. You have to block this now. You arsenaled your Lumina Ascension. Even just the fact that into decks that it's not good against, it still gives you hand knowledge is like hyper relevant. It's like you send this in the Guardian Mirror and they block 6 and then they show you their pummel from hand and then sheepishly attack with CNC with the Tunic up and you're like, cool, right? Or like you get to see their arsenal. Like just seeing an arsenal, it's like, that's always a power card. And sometimes if you have evasion on it, you're going to discard like 3 cards with this for some reason. So
yeah, this is that scary Betsy card like type of area where you can give it overpower very easily and just, okay, well, if you have a bunch of non-attacks in your hand.
But this is what I mean though. I kind of hate this design. It should have said discard one of them.
Not all of them.
You put, dominate on this with like
Bravo
or something as Suspensor, and you just say, hey, I'm discarding 4 cards from you with this 1 card.
Yeah, it's anti-warrior shit, that's for sure. The next 2 are Ice Aged Oak and Ancient Earth Oak. So Ice Aged Oak is a 3 cost blue, block 3, 4 power attack. When this hits a hero, create an embodiment of Earth token. Ice Bond. If an ice card was pitched to play this, it gets Dominate, and when this hits a hero, create a Frostbite token in each of their exposed head, chest, arms, and legs zones. So very Jarl coded. And the Ancient Earth Oak is the on-hit Frostbite, and then Earth Bond is +2, and there's a 3 for 6 red. If you pitched an Earth, it's a 3 for 8. And when this hits a hero, put this on the bottom of its owner's deck. So it just basically does the Evergreen loop for you. Probably playable. I don't play Guardians. That's really where these belong.
The red is insane.
Yeah, Living Legend is a format, Logan.
It is not a format.
And both of these cards are immediate upgrades for Starvo.
I played Starvo. Like that I get. Like this,
and honestly, they might even just be good enough and just straight like Oldhim as well. Like they're both very, very good. And the fact that they are both earth and ice for triggering appropriate things is nice. But yeah, the red in Starvo is so busted because like if you're already showing the Voltron and then you're then sending the Ancient Earth Oak, if you're pitching your Earth card and then shipping this, it's what, 10 dominate, go again. With like the trigger, and you give a Frostbite, and then if you swing your hammer on the back end and give him another Frostbite, like, come on.
Then John loves it because then you've already deleted turns, and that's what he likes the most.
Yes, I love deleting turns. No, I think this card is insane. Even in current CC for Jarl, it's another payoff for your Disarray Equipment minigame, where this card is just like you're gonna play it. It's a 2-card 8 that made a Frostbite, and we'll make another one if you just don't block. Going to the bottom of the deck in a deck that sometimes goes to fatigue. It's just insane. It's like Wounded Bull always has a place in these like mid-rangey decks that are just trying to trade well on 2 cards and block 2 cards, and the fact that like you're also just going to delete aggro turns with it, like poor Syndra. It's like you killed their Flick Knives, and now you're just like, here's a Frostbite, and can I give you another one?
Would you like a second?
Yeah, because I don't know. It's so good. The blue is kind of, I think, negligible just because it only attacks for 4. It's like...
I hear you, but here's the thing. It is a blue block 3 with an earth tag.
Oh, yeah. It will be run. It's just... the text box can be ignored.
Oh, sure.
Just, unless there's some sort of like pump that naturally goes to second cycle, it's hard for this to ever be super...
Yeah. This absolutely, I agree. This reads as a second cycle like hell for some people, because when you hit second cycle, like 4 isn't anything to write home about, but hopefully by then you've whittled them down to where the dominate's good enough to get home, and then you also turn their turn off, which feels kind of insane. Or
Ice Age joke into pummel.
People are just going to pummel.
I was going to say, if you're a glutton like me, you're just pummeling anyway because you're running rainbow pummel.
Any rate, next one's Headbanging Chorus. This is a revered Guardian instant aura. It's a yellow. It costs 1. It blocks for 3. It has suspense. The first Guardian or revered attack action card you play each turn gets when this hits a hero. If you have no cards in hand, draw a card.
Insane.
Fine. Yeah, I think fine, right?
It's insane.
Is it insane?
At least in the context of Pleiades, one of her issues is that she has 2 types of suspense auras. She has play it and get an incidental value when it leaves, and she has the longer this stays around, the more value I get from it, suspense auras. The problem is her hero doesn't get additional value unless you have both of those things happening, and the like value over the course of having it in play cards are very limited to these blue block 2s that kind of suck. So having a block 3 that if you draw this early and you just keep moving a suspense counter to it the entirety of the game is going to draw you 3, 4, 5 cards against certain decks, even if they're not great arsenal targets. It's like Pleiades blues are full of like suspense aura blues that you can like dump out easily. At least all in like mid-rangey aggro Pleiades. Obviously, we're not talking about fatigue Pleiades, but I think that the fact it blocks 3 and will give you that forever value is like a huge toolkit thing for Pleiades, where maybe she'll work now. It's not that the card is insanely busted, but like the hero might work.
Yeah, sure.
No, I think I 100% agree with that read, because it fills both roles, right? It's something that is threatening to give immediate value. The fact that you can play it as an instant means you're probably doing it when you're about to hit and it's emptying your hand so that you can get that first trigger. But then, as he said, you can try to keep it around, and it kind of juggles both things for you. The other thing that really shocked me about this card is I would argue that it was still potentially playable even as a red. The fact that this still pitches as a yellow, like it's not blue territory, that would have been busted. But even the fact that it's not like crippling you if you draw multiples is really, really nice in my opinion.
Fair enough. The next one's Apex Buster. We alluded to this earlier. It's a brute action, yellow, 3 for 3, 3 attack, cost, 6 attack, 3 block. Relevant text on this card is actually the instant pay to discard this. Destroy target card that is defending an attack you control with 6 or more base power. Bear in mind, target card, not a target attack action. Target Valiant Dynamos, or target Scabskins, or target, whatever. This one's real good.
Yeah.
Like
Angel.
I think it's
Angels don't block, idiot.
I think this is like my mind goes to Reckless Swing.
Right.
Where the card is not always going to get activated for its ability. Sometimes it's going to be clunky, sometimes it's not going to be what you want to see, but it is going to straight win games, and it will also force people to play around it existence, where it's just like, yeah, and any sort of like, as you said, killing incidental equipment where they're trying to get value out of it before they like pop it for the activated ability or whatever, and then you're just destroying that equipment.
This is
And
going
then-
to get a balance of justice at some point, and it's going to be important.
Yep. Or it's just if you're low life, you block for 3, and now you're dead because they had that in hand, and it was a good fork because if you did block 6 or whatever, they were just going to send another attack at you. So,
Yep,
pretty broken. Notable, it does intimidate in Runner.
Oh yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
So
Gross.
it's gonna be
That's-
interesting.
Gross.
So you apply blocks, and then during your attack reaction step before they can play a defense reaction, you do this, get rid of the card blocking, and possibly intimidate the D-react they wanted to play.
Yeah, you'd want to do it after it blocks before it reacts,
Before
Right.
reacts. Yep.
Yeah. and then your opponent's sad.
Yeah, real
very.
sad. Also, you know who else is sad? Poor Ben. Every time a card like this comes up, I think, man, they just don't want him to have any fun on his mechanoids whatsoever.
Just blowing up mechanoids.
Yeah.
We can banish all the shit that, is put under them or whatever. Or we can turn them face down or
Yep.
whatever it is. We can oh god. Next one is Dance Macabre. This is one of the legendaries. These are Necromancer equipment legs with Blade Break block 1. These are whenever an ally you controls enters the arena, you may pay 2 resources and tap this. If you do, that ally's first attack this turn gets go again, and destroy that ally at the beginning of the end phase. This does seem more made for Malice, but probably very good, is my guess.
Yeah, it seems like the hook of the set. It's like they
Right.
printed
Yeah.
this to enable a play pattern.
Yep.
We can kind of guess at the play pattern, but of course there's so few cards spoiled that we might be completely wrong because we're missing another important part of it. But seems
As
good.
of right now.
It's funny you say hook because maybe I'm just Bravo coded, but I think of it as the tectonic plating.
You are Bravo coded.
It's same thing, different story, right? Like to me, it's, you pitched a Bravo, and when you're pitching a blue, you're activating Dominate, you're pitching through plating, you're doing your thing. And with this, it's you pitch a blue and you're activating your Vox Necropolis and your Dance Macabre, and then you've got a zombie that's new boot goofing.
Did you say new boot goofing?
Yeah. I'm making
Are you gonna get Skibbity Ohio with me next,
no,
or
it's
toilet
from
or whatever
Reno
the fuck they say?
911, you Philistine.
I didn't watch a lot of Reno 911.
Oh my God, I'm so disappointed in you.
I watched enough of it. Thomas Lennon is great in doses. He's very wannabe Kids in the Hall. And
yeah, apparently I'm just overdosing on Thomas Lennon over
apparently
here.
you are. Next one's Hellbound Assault. This is busted to me. Like, this is, 1, it's Sage legal, and 2, it just reads as very good to me. So this is a 2 cost. It's a rainbow. So 7/6/5 on the attack values. Block 3 with Blood Debt. Shadow Brute action attack. When this hits, banish it. But a 2 for 7 on hit banish to turn off Blood Debt is quite good, I think, in Sage specifically.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a little bit like anti-synergy with the rest of Levi's toolkit if you can't get enough cards into your graveyard.
Right.
And it's just
You
banishing
can just
itself.
block.
And you're like,
They're
oh.
block 3s. You can just block with them.
That's true. I think that being above rate at base will at least make it played, as you said, somewhere like in Sage, but hard to say.
That's true. And speaking of seeing arguments on how disgusting this card is, and I don't know for sure, but I want the art to be hanging on my wall, is Ingest the Unknown. This costs 1. It's a yellow that blocks 3. It's a brute attack action, has 0 base attack and 3 block. When this attacks, banish the top card of your deck. This gets plus X, where X is the banished card's base power. Okay. People are just like, yep, banish a Hydra, send a 1 for 12 or whatever. And it's like, that seems like magical Christmas land. Most of the time, this is going to be a 6 or, 1 cost that it comes in for 6. That's still really good rate. But this has Blood Debt, does not, when this banishes, off of anything, this doesn't, turn off Blood Debt on its own. but I'm not sure on this one.
It does. It does have me intrigued for some sort of opt-based Levia. You've already seen Levias in the past run. I have a Phidia.
Yep.
There is already a blue that puts any attack with 6 or more on top of your deck. So together with this and like a 2-deck counter, you can send your, 2-card 13 or whatever, make it bigger.
Man, we also just got done talking about battle prep.
We did, which is an opt 2 that does things.
And the fact it's yellow means that if you don't have the card to enable its effect, you can just pitch it. And it's block 3, so you can just block with it. So it could be the type of thing where you run 3 of them. Most of the time it's like block fodder. And then sometimes you draw it with I have a Phidia and it's insane. But I have my doubts. We'll see.
Yeah. It's a hell of a pitch stat card too.
Let's discuss the art really quick. Because there's a dude getting bisected by tentacles while a head from another dude is flying off somewhere. And there's another dude that is effectively had his guts ripped out, laying on the wall or propped up against the wall in the background. And blood has been splattered all across everything. And there's the shadow of a cosmic horror that is being cast on the building behind it. Me gusta.
Yeah, I personally not a fan. I think in a vacuum, art is fine. For this particular card, not a fan. What is
nothing's being ingested, and we know what's
what is the unknown and what is being ingested? Like
it's the cosmic horror is eating these people that nobody knows. And nobody cares about.
I wanted Levia to be like eating a cosmic horror herself. I wanted her to be consuming the unknown.
You wanted this to be the Dunkin' Donuts ad?
Because I wanted Levia to be at a table, Logan. 3 mystery boxes. She has to pick one. There's a game show host in the background. It could be Viscerai.
Monty Hall. Viscerai as Monty Hall.
Which box do you choose?
Eat Timothy.
Eat Timothy.
Each box there's a different head.
Yeah, eat Bob from accounting.
I will say this. Any card that gives me an excuse, good or not, I don't care about competitiveness. Any card that gives me an excuse to run more 10 feet tall and bulletproof, I'm in.
I can't argue with that logic. That is one of my favorite cards.
Are we going to get a 20-foot tall and laser?
That makes you 0 intellect?
0 intellect, 20.
Yep. We should. I would put that directly in a cube. One of the dumbest things I've seen so far done in Runeblade Cube was a 10-foot tall and bulletproof, sent with 19 rune chance behind it, and then pummeled. The game ended. It was weird. Next one is Forsaken Strike. They keep making Enlightened Strikes, I guess. This one's a 0 cost yellow block 3 Shadow Necromancer attack action. So it's just a Malice card. So that's why Charmer likes it. As an additional cost to play this, you may destroy up to 3 zombies you control and or discard up to 3 zombies. Choose a mode for each zombie destroyed or discarded this way. Create a gate. Gets +2. Gets go again. So 3 zombies equals 0 for 5. Go again. Create a gate to Aerithel token. Okay. That seems like what you want to be doing.
I think it seems like a really good enabler into decks that don't go wide. It feels like she might like the corrupted corpses or whatever they are like the way that she goes wide, and there's like a multi-step process to get there. And against decks that aren't just killing your zombies, having an outlet for them seems really strong. Seems great. It's like you have 2 zombies on the board, you kill them both, get 5, go again, and now you can play an actual go again zombie that's not going to just die on its own.
Yeah.
And you can potentially you can like tap those guys first, get their 1 value for the turn, and then blow them all up. So it seems very good into anything that doesn't, as I said, doesn't kill your zombies. So
yeah, I was just going to say what I like about this, and I know Logan was poking me about it's a Malice card, so I like it. But what I really like about it is, and we've seen it with a couple of the other cards already revealed, it rewards the gameplay design of the decay mechanic. Like the reason that I like Malice, or at least I'm attracted to playing Malice more than, say, just Gravy, is because her thing with the zombies and specifically the decay mechanic literally feels like I'm raising the undead and they're slowly rotting away. And eventually they're just going to go away on their own. But a savvy necromancer, wastes no part of the kill, if you will, and will find a way to utilize those corpses right to the end. And this is a great payoff for that. But also, I could also see situations where if you're trying to get certain things into your discard pile, this is another way on a turn 0 where you could filter a bunch of zombies into your discard pile that you might want there for whatever reason as well. Like it's just, it kind of does everything that you want in Malice. Yeah. And it's not even a red, like it's a yellow.
It's a yellow.
That feels criminal.
Speaking of criminals, we have Restless Corporal. 0 cost Shadow Necromancer zombie ally. These are all 3/3s, but action, tap, put a card from your banished zone into your graveyard. Go again. So we were wondering at the beginning when Malice was revealed what kind of abilities are going to be to recycle cards from your banished back to your graveyard. Found it. It's right there. So just kind of a linchpin. This seems like glue. Like just glues the deck together. Seems good.
Yeah. I don't know if I like this guy though. He seems kind of mouthy.
I hate you.
You didn't even acknowledge our double pun earlier when we were talking about
for a fucking reason. I hate puns.
Puns are the best.
They really are.
I'm always surrounded by just apes and gorillas.
Together strong.
Dicks out for Harambe, I guess. Next one's Restless Outlaw. 0 cost 3/3 zombie. When this dies, create a corrupted corpse in your banish zone. Okay.
It's gonna win slower games where you just drop 2 of these turn 1 and you get your go again allies rampaging into some guardian. It's like, why do I not have go again in my class yet? LSS, please.
I mean, you have some go again. I mean, Zealous Belting has go again. Rouse the Ancients has go again.
Guardian card. I think they should be literally just like Guardian Zealous Belting and Guardian Rouse the Ancients by now that just have block 3.
That are just block 3 versions. They're the same card, like legitimately the same card. They have go again.
Exact same card. Or they have recycle the art. Recycle the art, but put Bravo's face on them somewhere, and then you're good. Ship it.
Honestly, what I would love to see as well would be some sort of Guardian cards that are either like blue block 3s or whatever, and they're just like 0 for 3s, but they say specifically like if this is attacking an ally, it has go again. Like just give us some sort of tool that we can use for the cleanup.
Sure. Sounds great. I don't really care. Like
I know you don't.
I don't like playing Guardians, and I don't like playing ally classes, so
well, let me tell you, if you don't like those two, you should play a Guardian into an ally class, because then you'll gouge your own eyes out.
No. I did that. Because when Fatigue's Nuts became like the deck, and somebody convinced me I should play Valda in an event, and so I did, and played against 0, or didn't play into a Pleiades until the last round, which I was already dead for top 8, but played into like Gravy Bones a bunch and lost a lot. So, it's now guest corner. So, JMags, you are the guest. Anything you want to talk about?
Well, I feel like we already talked about warmongers and all that jazz. But I guess one thing that has been fun and amusing to me throughout the course of recent decks and stuff is I guess I just want to give a challenge to all my fellow mid-range gamers and tell them that it's okay to run risky cards. I think it's one of these funny things in a recent Flesh and Blood. I don't know if you've run into this, but all of the heroes that are mid-range, everybody who deck builds for them is super conservative all the time. And it drives me insane because I'm a very risky player, but I love playing mid-range. I like to be able to block when I want to. But if I'm playing Kasai, I'm putting 3 Seduce Secrets in my deck because I want my deck to function aggressively. But then like everybody else who wants to play Kasai is like, oh, but it says no block. What am I gonna do if I draw 2 of them? And it's like, what are you gonna do if your math isn't good enough to win? That's also a way to lose.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know if you run into this, but even just for like playing Betsy at Pro Tour, amongst all the people playing Betsy, I had by far the most 2 blocks in my deck.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where it's not that it's always correct to put in risky cards, but I think that sometimes when you have a hero who has worse math than other people, you just have to take risks. Or you're just gonna lose slower. It's like you'll be really consistent and then you'll consistently lose.
I think the one that always got me are the people that wouldn't just jam all the damage in a turn when playing things like Kasai. So like, I need to arsenal this hit and run. I'm like, or you could get the 3 damage right now.
Yeah, and make that gold hit.
Right. That seems way better. Like, why not do that? And I kind of agree that, especially in the mid-range decks right now, it does seem like a conservative approach happens a lot. I don't personally enjoy Seduce Secrets as much, but it has nothing to do with the block values or anything like that. I'm just want to do other things than look at my opponent's hand. But it never lines up for me to draw a card. I am the unluckiest person in the world. But I'll play stupid shit like Crimson Waltz because I like 2 for 4 and drawing a card and making my next sword free. That's fine. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously at one point in time, I played 3 gems in Kasai at once because fucking reasons, because I wanted to.
I don't think anything will ever top my Worlds sideboard for Verdance.
Which was
the wildest. I had 3 gems, 3 Seduce, and 3 sigils in the deck in Verdance.
Nothing that blocks.
Like, and it was just like, I'm going to draw a hand that does literally nothing at some point in this game, but it won't matter because you're Verdance. So
right. And
you're only going to send 2 cards at me anyways. So
there have definitely been times where I pitched an authority and my opponent just went, oh. Like, hey, we got him.
Well, that's just one of those things where it's like, if you have a matchup that's hard enough, sometimes you just got to run the cards. So like, I don't want authority in my deck, but if authority ever trades up an entire card in this matchup, it's like potentially game winning. So right. We're putting authority in because it's hard to beat Verdance.
I mean, we're putting authority in because I own a cold foil, but we're playing authority because of sometimes you just it's a blue that breaks the game, and fantastic.
But the funny flip side of this though is that I would also encourage aggro players to deck build more conservatively.
Oh, I agree with that too.
I've run into that a lot where back in the heyday of Aurora when she was completely busted, I didn't run Snatch because I felt like she was so good. I didn't need Snatch to win a video game.
Right.
It's like I felt like I only lost when I drew up hands that didn't have action points and also didn't block. So it's like, it'll be a block 3 instead. And then obviously Snatch is broken in Aurora, but Aurora was so broken at that time. It was just like, I don't need another block 2 no go again card in my deck. So
yeah.
And it's to be clear, I'm not saying these are correct deck building decisions, but I think it's a useful tool if you're an aggro player to try to think like a control player, and if you're like a mid-range or control player to try to think like an aggro player every once in a while.
Yeah, and I think that there's definitely some legacy thinking that just needs to get broken sometimes too, and that's I think what you're really pointing to as well is I'm playing a mid-range deck, so I have to be conservative. Well, no, you don't. You can sometimes just shove it in and see what happens. Did they die? Find out. You can also, as an aggro player, go, you know what? This is probably pretty bad for me. I'm going to go ahead and put in 60 reacts and give myself a chance to get later into the game or find turns where they don't want to block or whatever and be more conservative in that regard. Also, warrior players, while you don't have to play 3 Blunton, you should probably play 3 Blunton.
You don't
see. That's where I disagree. I think Blunton sucks.
That's fair.
At least in Kasai, who draws a card quite often. But if you're in any other warrior, I would agree Blunton is usually pretty good.
Yeah, I was having this discussion with a friend of mine who is playing Olympia, and I'm like, Olympia, you should not lose to another warrior because you do not care about the warrior on warrior hate cards near as much as the next person. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, Blunton, most of the time you're just playing all your shit out immediately. It's all in front making wagers, and so you just don't have a hand. Kabuto, great. I'm not going to swing with this sword again that's coming in for 14 that I wanted to swing, that I wasn't going to swing with again anyway. Don't give a shit. And it's like, you just are better at navigating those. Hala hates to see a Kabuto. Kasai really hates to see a Kabuto in like a slice and dice turn. Yeah. So you're just better at doing that shit. So you should really be playing those and not really giving a fuck if your opponent does.
Or we could just all agree to not run any of those cards. That'd be great for the health of the game.
Not run them into warriors. We can still play them into ninja.
Yeah, you sit down across from another warrior. You're like, here's my Kabuto. It's in my deck box. Let's play a real game.
But Fang is a ninja because he only uses daggers.
Sure.
Okay.
We can leave Fang out of this. Although I'd really rather him not run Kabuto into me. So
also fair. Yeah. That is a miserable matchup, to be honest.
That's another example of game design where it's like, why does it say can't swing weapons? Why can't it just say block the next 6 damage that weapons do? Make it absurd, but it doesn't need to be literally everything.
Yeah. I mean, playing Syndra and then just understanding that my Wrath of Retribution turn isn't really a Wrath of Retribution turn unless you can actually force them to use their Kabuto early. Great. Then they just banned Wrath, so it didn't matter. All right. So I was going to change things up, and we weren't going to talk about pie. Instead, we were going to hit a rotation of things we talk about, of which pie is part of it. But then Darick also didn't want to discuss pie, but he wanted to discuss something very specific.
Cookies.
What? Okay. So now you got to tell me, why are we discussing cookies?
Because cookies are superior to pie. They're like pie on the go, if you will.
I'm not following this one.
Like, and they are delightful.
You're going to have to work harder.
I mean,
cookies are delightful.
Listen, if I have to work harder to sell you on cookies, then I don't know what to tell you. That is a
you have problem, to work harder to sell me on cookies over pie.
Because you can take them on the go.
They are definitely the superior form.
Like,
you don't need a plate.
Let me paint you a picture, right? I'm sitting across from Brody Spurlock. We're locked in a...
You've got a time. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, we're locked in an overtime situation. He goes deep in the tank. He reaches down. He grabs the ham sandwich and he starts munching. So I say to myself, great idea, Brody. I need to refuel. And I reach into my backpack myself. Am I pulling out a piece of pie or am I pulling out a cookie?
If you were asserting dominance, you'd be pulling out a piece of pie. Because that's asserting dominance.
Yeah, but then I have to touch my cards.
Pull out a fork too, idiot.
No, see, that's it's got to be just hand to mouth. The way he's doing it with his ham sandwich. He goes ham to mouth. I go hand to mouth.
Well, nobody's going ass to mouth, so at least there's that. Okay, so here's the next question. We'll leave it specific. We'll call specific to Chips Ahoy. Chewy.
I said cookies.
Chewy or crispy?
Is it the Cookie Monster or the Veggie Monster?
I mean, it's always the Veggie Monster, but chewy or crispy?
So chewy if I don't have a beverage, and classic if I have milk.
Okay, so on the go, it's going to be
on the go. It'd be chewy.
Okay,
specifically the chewy ones with M&Ms.
So you can have your favorite American cookie. What is your favorite American? What's your favorite cookie?
It's literally what I'm eating right now.
White chocolate macadamia nut?
No.
Oatmeal raisin? Okay.
No,
Just oatmeal?
oatmeal. Not oatmeal raisin, not oatmeal chocolate chip. Oatmeal. Just give me oatmeal all
Could
day.
you be any whiter? What the fuck is this?
It's so good. A little bit of cinnamon, lots of butter, classic oatmeal.
Okay, well, we have to have further discussions about you later, but okay. So you have in front of you that container of oatmeal cookies.
Yep.
And then somebody, we'll say his name is Josh Scott,
Okay.
blindly hands you a box and says, there are some biscuits I brought you from New Zealand, but you have to give me that box of cookies. What are you doing?
I mean, I'm 100% trading every time.
Okay. You should. Because some of the biscuits that Josh brought me from New Zealand are fucking
It's
wild.
international food. Like, I like these, but I also know these are going to kill me.
Well, sure.
New Zealand has standards.
There is. He gave me these cookies that are hokey pokey cookies. So they're honeycomb inside the cookie and then covered with New Zealand chocolate.
Right.
It gets busted.
You were like, hey, you could ingest cancer or you could have the food of the hobbits. What do you choose?
You always take the hobbits. They know food.
The hobbits don't have a good time.
That's right.
Yeah, they do.
But some of the shit that Josh gave me is wild. So
see, that's like my number one dessert advice is because you're ingesting cancer, as you put it, only eat desserts that you truly love. My number one piece of dessert advice.
That makes sense.
If you don't love it, don't eat it. Go find what you love and then eat that instead.
I think that's just good advice in general.
Here's the thing. I've been with my wife for 26 years, happily monogamous. But when it comes to desserts, I am as polyamorous as it gets. So this is still problematic for me.
You're such a whore.
I am for sweet treats.
We don't slut shame, but Jesus. All right, moving on. We got a couple listener questions with a little bit of jizz to them. That's not what I was about to say at all. Juice, I think that's what I was going with. Juice. I was going with juice and something else, and it came out as jizz, which is also, that sentence wasn't right either. So, we've all fathered children. We know how it works. But first, God, and the first one's from Diz. Oh no. Well, we're not
Let's
doing
hear
great.
about the jizz from Diz there, Logan.
The jizz from Diz is, what was the actual goal of Battlegrounds? The original announcement framed it as a way to bring more competitive events to local stores, but that's not what's playing out. Right now, there are only 6 scheduled in North America. That's changed, by the way. Through the end of the year, despite LSS reportedly receiving over 500 store applications and rejecting more than 90% of them, often with no explanation beyond a flat, no thanks. Store owners clearly want to run these events, so why is LSS turning away that much willing infrastructure? And if this was meant to replace Battle Harden, what was the point of billing it as a boost for local scenes when it's this gate kept? So 2 things. 1, these come with living legend points attached. And because they want to limit the number of points in the ecosystem at one time, not every store that wants to run a Battlegrounds is going to. 2, if there's anything we know about LSS, it's that they run unknown quantities a lot. So the fact that Green Tree and AGE and MinMax are the ones getting Battlegrounds isn't too surprising, because they have shown throughout, their history that they're going to draw people and put asses in seats. Whereas, yes, a store might be able to hold 400, but are they realistically going to get 400?
Or are they going to, even if you can fit that many people, provide the kind of experience that you hope your players have?
Right.
Because there's a difference between a venue that can field that many and a good experience at that venue. Need I remind people of the, worlds in a tent?
San Jose.
Still talk about. Need I remind people of the ProQuests where the store owner wants to fight you at 2 a.m. in the parking lot?
Pittsburgh.
Like, they want to have, not just people who have the infrastructure, but also have the experience to run an event of that magnitude, is my takeaway.
So, JMags, has any of the stores in Minneapolis gotten a Battlegrounds yet? I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think
I don't
I would have
think
heard
so.
about it, but I'm incredibly out of the loop because I don't have bandwidth in my life for following
That's fair.
most
I
news
can tell you
cycles.
You have,
definitively.
wait a second. You have bandwidth to come on here for a couple hours and chat with us two fucking idiots, but we limit bandwidth when it comes to like reading an event. Well, actually, reading the LSS event finder. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, reading about events that I will not be able to go to is not on my list of things I enjoy doing.
That's fair.
Talking about random stuff
Amen.
related to card games, I do enjoy.
Yeah, good enough.
Amen. So I will say this: I am like 99% certain that there is not one in Minneapolis yet, because I feel like I would have heard about it from Cass and Company.
Oh,
like,
sure.
Yeah.
There's a crew there in Minneapolis, and
It's okay. We'll get nationals in
2 years
or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
I mean, that is pretty
Worlds
good.
here too. All I'm saying is Minnesota is the best place for every event. Just everything here.
As long as it's not December. December through February.
no, they have a skywalk.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Listen, it's Minneapolis in the winter because they've got a good infrastructure and a skywalk, and it's Detroit in the summer, and we'll just call it a Midwest Fest.
Yeah, but Minnesota well, I mean, I guess the street crime now is
No, Detroit's great
it's
now.
probably pretty close now because Detroit's gotten way better.
Detroit has a vibrant downtown, great food.
Now,
We have public parks again. We opened a train station again. Like
That's good.
We are entering the 1900s, sir. You just shut your mouth over there.
Okay, you found electricity. Congratulations. I do remember and agree that they did bill these when they first came out as store level. That made it sound like these were going to be something that stores could readily run. And that's not the case. So I do think that the messaging was off. But
I think this is quite a common problem in card games.
It
And
is.
just in everything. It's like you have different people working on design and different people working on marketing, and then somebody says one thing and the other people are like, wait, why are you don't say that? That's not what we're doing with this. And then
It's a little bit of that, but I would also like to take a moment, and I'll channel my inner Jimmy Blanco for a moment and say, we said stores could run it. Not every store could run it.
oh, for fuck's sake.
Just because we are providing you something above skirmish level but below callings doesn't mean that every store is going to get one. We're just opening the avenues for some stores to get them. Be patient.
And they never announced PvE. Remember that. But
Anyway, that's my Jimmy Blanco.
I think that's more James White than Jimmy Blanco. You didn't go full Jimmy Blanco calls somebody a fuck.
Yeah,
or
twat.
something. Yeah, or a twat. Yeah, that works. Or
I love that man though.
Same, but or pointedly call somebody fucking disrespectful when they put his face on a shirt in a non-flattering way. That was also very funny. That was in London, but so yeah, it was meant to replace Battle Hardened, but it wasn't meant to. It wasn't meant to do much else except for take the event running more out of LSS's hands and put it into stores' hands. More away from the general tournament organizers like SCG at the time or Fab Foundry now, and more into stores running these events. So again, messaging wasn't great, but that's kind of the reasoning, and you really can't just run them roughshod because one, if there are, people don't really travel for them as much anyway that I know of. Like there was one in Chicago this past weekend I didn't go to, but and I like Chicago, but I know a lot of people don't, but I like Chicago. But there's a lot that goes into what, running these. If you run a bunch of them, you're going to just create a cannibalistic nature where people might, you put a bunch within a 3-hour drive of people. They're just going to, you're going to get 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, instead of getting 70 or 80 here. So that's also problematic.
they could have potentially said something like, we'll run one per 200-mile radius or something, or like,
Right.
given like a little idea of what they're shooting for, and then like we'll take submissions and we'll pick the best options for the different areas. But
Yeah.
then that's more work for them. So I don't know.
Yeah. Next one's from Echo. Do you think the LL system needs a revamp? It seems odd that Acilio got 5 out of the top 8 in Hamburg, but since none of them won, a clearly dominant hero gets 0 points for the tournament. It's not the first time one hero barely doesn't make it, but dominates the tournament and the meta. I've been arguing for a little bit now that LL needs a revamp. I wasn't arguing this part of it. I was arguing that they just need to get rid of the multiplier. I don't think it's doing its job, personally. And if you're going to go back, I do think there is an argument to be made with potentially having, I think we discussed this years ago, but having the LL points divide amongst the top 8 rather than just be the top 1. Obviously, the top 1 would still get the lion's share, but fractional points, or not fractional, but smaller point amounts would go down through the top 8 in descending order of tier 4 and higher events. So I don't know that that's a bad idea. I don't know if it's a good idea, but I do think they need to try something else. Because I don't think that I think we've been in a spot numerous times where the calendar wasn't turning over fast enough. And we're going to see 5 heroes go, and they've said themselves that they thought some of these things would have already happened, but they didn't.
Yeah. I'll say, like, I'm not sure that, like, the which hero is in the top actually wins is, like, the biggest issue with the system, per se. I think that every once in a while it seems annoying that somebody didn't get LL points, but I do think that they could revamp it a little bit to be more predictable. I think there's like 25% of LL points should be time-based. Just like, if your hero exists, you get some LL points each season. Because a hero, like, I think the poster child of this would be Bravo. The hero was good at times, won some tournaments, and now is never going to be viable again unless they print completely busted specs. But if he was getting, 50 LL points a season,
he'd be gone. Yeah.
And they could reprint a new Bravo with a better ability and not have to print dumb specializations for him to get him out of here sometimes. And I don't want to be sitting here, 5 years from now with the 80th Riptide card printed to try to LL this hero. Just let him LL naturally from, like, each hero at maximum survives 6 years, or at maximum, like, if they win no events, is gone in 5 years. And then you can, like, get heroes that aren't supposed to win because they were printed mistakenly, like, and just get them out of here and then reprint them with a better ability. And then the people who, always wanted to have a real Betsy deck or whatever don't have to, wait forever for you to print something busted for Betsy. They can just get a new Betsy that's, like, real.
I think that's interesting.
I just think that, like, it also helps with the problem of, like, oh, this hero's at 975 LL points. Are they going to LL this season? They are terrible. But a couple of random people might win with them. Maybe. Like, that type of thing. It's just, like, it's more predictable. Players can be like, yeah, we know that this hero is LLing this season for sure. Just by the time-based thing. And there's no more limping across at the 999.
The 998s and the 999s.
You can have it happen one season, but then they're guaranteed afterwards or whatever.
Yeah, because I know that Briar stood at 998 for forever, or it felt like forever. I think was it Zen was the one that hit 1,000 on the button. Maybe I'd have to go and look, and I don't feel like it. But I think that that's interesting. The time based almost atrophy like of a hero. Like if you say year one, they'll accrue either 50 LL points or whatever they achieve through tournament results, whichever is greater, and then have that amount increase yearly. That probably works out to about what you're saying, I think.
Yeah, and that helps with the multiplier thing. Like, you can get rid of the multiplier. If you're newer, you're guaranteed less points. But if you're older, you're going to get more points. for sure.
I think that's actually elegant.
But
I mean,
I just get bothered by when we're still printing specializations for what heroes, in my opinion, we're just like, they messed up. It's just slightly too underpowered, never going to be real. I think that they should eventually leave so that they don't have to be worried about them for all of time or whatever. Like, instead of having Mastery Pack Olympia and all these Olympia random cards that were printed just for Olympia over the last, 3 years or whatever, we could have just ignored him and released a new hero or released Olympia 2.0.
Right.
And give him a different ability or whatever.
Well, it opens up design space too. Like, it does a lot of different things. So I think I think that's actually a more elegant solution.
But in general, I love the LL system, but I do think that some amount of changes are probably going to be necessary at some point.
Yeah. Darick, what say you?
I think I understand the sentiment, but I think that the issue is that it ruins one of the things that Flesh and Blood stands on from a marketing standpoint. And that's that they're an eternal format. And if you add that, it's still some form of soft rotation. At some point, your favorite heroes will be gone organically.
But how much is that is a marketing standpoint? Like, how much of that do they use as a selling?
Well, I mean, I would have to see proof of their marketing in general to be able to stand on that. But I will say that from like a word of mouth standpoint, it is when people talk about, rotations, and every time a new card game comes out and they're like, when is going to be the first rotation or whatever, there's inevitably conversations about like, has any game ever not done a rotation? And then Flesh and Blood comes up. So like being that exclusion, being that exception does have some value.
Yeah, but I think that in some ways it helps with that sense, because I think that like the heroes have always, eventually a hero goes away, but your cards are always going to be playable. And having the predictable LL rate means that if Bravo has to LL by 2 years from now, you can start working on Bravo 2.0 Armory deck 2 years in advance. Have a shared folder in which people can drop in ideas, and you can know, hey, in a year from now, we can actually, release this or start printing this Armory deck. And because even if Bravo LLs right now, like, we're guaranteed that 2 years from now, when we hit that stage of our design process, that hero will be gone. And here's the new one.
I guess from my standpoint, though, I just think about like, who cares if the other one is gone or not? Like, just print the new one. Like, the other one doesn't have to be gone for the new ones to not be made. I mean, we have 2 Acilios running around, right?
Yeah. But
like really close together. We had 2 Bravo. Granted, one was Starvo, but we had 2 Bravos floating around for a bit. We've had all sorts of, like, I don't think that one negates the other. And if that hero, if Bravo Showstopper just never LLs, like, I also don't think that's bad for the game either.
I think it's a little bit bad for the game. I don't want to open up Fabry and have 500 heroes listed. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but I think that
sure.
I think that having a shorter hero roster is less overwhelming for newer players. And
for that, I would potentially agree with you, but I would point to, for newer players, I think that they are standing 10 toes down on Sage being your introductory bit.
That's fair.
And so as long as you have less of a hero roster in Sage, and they can just expand the amount of voted in bans as the roster enlarges, or they can start doing planned leagues where they will, because I've said in the past that instead of doing like, these ones are not in, instead you just announce, a few months in advance or whatever for Sage, like, this is your 20 hero roster for this season. Run with it. Or
Sage's
something.
roster much bigger?
It probably is bigger right now, but I just think that, like, in the future, if they wanted to pare it down, it's also very easy to do. I guess for me, as somebody who, coming from both other card games and other games in general, I still don't think that Fab's roster is enormous. Like if I was brand new to card games, straight from the get-go, yeah, it would be intimidating to me. But I also really just feel bad for anybody who chooses Flesh and Blood as their first ever trading card game, if I'm being honest, because it is the most difficult one on the market, right? It is the competitive game. So if you're coming from other games, even if it's not other card games, like what's the current Legend roster in League of Legends?
Like 740 people, I'm sure.
Like what's the current Dota 2 roster? Like TI's going on.
127.
Right? Like
I've played Dota. I watched the international. And
I was just gonna say
TI
was just going, right? Like my buddy Slack. So like for me, even just thinking from that, but even from card games, when Magic, like even when Magic held to a tight standard, right? When I think of, back when it was still Type 2, and I know that you didn't play Magic, but like when I think of like even when it was then, there was like a lot that you had to take in just because there are so many like referential keywords where even if it's not something legal in the set, it's probably referring something that came before it, right? Like in Magic, because the game has been out for so long, a lot of the keywords are actually just shortened versions of old cards, just like
it's
full
true.
Stop. So like fear and lifelink and whatever, like these used to be cards, like full on cards you would play in. Now they're just like a one word on a text box.
Mill was millstone.
Yeah. Like you're just supposed to know what this means now because of the history of the game. And I don't think Flesh and Blood has hit near that, quite yet. So I don't know. I guess for me, maybe it's also the person that like, I like to root for the underdog. And I think as much as it could incentivize people to start working on new versions of heroes, I also would hate to see a hero, like nothing would break my heart more than a hero gets printed and never gets any actual living legend points and then fades away.
I mean, your heart is weak then. But by the way, 170 is the number of playable characters in League of Legends. Is it that many?
About how Dota 2 is the superior MOBA?
I mean, I think that's pretty simple, too. I mean,
I'm mostly joking. I've played like.
Isn't League just a copy of Dota 2, and Dota's just
different things.
A Warcraft 3 mod? So,
I mean,
the Warcraft 3 is the superior game.
That is a very that is a very reductive take, and if you want to go that, then actually the answer is that Dune 2 for PC is the superior game because it redefined the RTS genre. But
it's a good one.
I digress.
Big fan.
But yeah, like even, Riftbound's only on set 5 just released, right? And there's already, I don't know, like 40 or 50 some odd legends or something like that. Like that
sounds like something Riot would do, yeah.
Yeah.
Moving to the last question from Delusion Data Analyst. Settle an argument for me. What's the best fast food fried chicken sandwich?
I don't eat fast food anymore.
See, that's good of you.
But I do like Popeyes.
Yep, that's the right answer. Popeye spicy chicken sandwich. It's the only one I'll eat, and it's usually airport food.
I disagree. The answer is Jollibee. Like,
what the fuck is a Jollibee?
You need to get your life right and go to a Jollibee.
Okay, next time I can drive 10 hours, I'll go to a Jollibee.
There's one in Chicago.
Is so depressing these days.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
It's like every time I eat it, I feel like junk afterwards, and I paid like 10 times more than I should have. And
right? Yeah. All this is
like, why would I ever eat here again? And then I go there again like 6 months later. I'm like, why would I ever do this again?
Well, then you go grocery shopping. You're like, why did I just spend $75 on like the stuff to make a meal? And then most of this other stuff, I'm not going to find a way to use in time. It's just going to expire. This is one of the things when traveling abroad that I was just like, I feel so much better, like as a human, when I'm traveling abroad, and I'm pretty sure it's the air and the food and the water. Like I'm just no longer ingesting actual poison, and that's even in like the food I buy at the supermarket. Like when it comes to meat now, Living in the Midwest makes things a little bit easier just because we most of the time know where stuff is coming from. But for beef specifically, I mean, I just buy from a butcher and I know where the cow was raised and everything else because I'm not fucking dealing with it. And again, living in the Midwest, like there's chickens everywhere. So you can just say, you can look and go, okay, these are ones that were Iowa raised or whatever. And then same thing with pork. I mean, that makes it a little easier here. But traveling abroad, it's like, oh, I don't have to even think about that because, most of the things from the US are banned here because of chemical content. Like US milk is not allowed to be sold overseas, and US poultry is not allowed to be sold overseas. Bread made in the US, a lot of it is not allowed to be considered bread in other countries because of the sugar content. It's considered pastry, and on and on and on. So that's one of the things I notice when I do travel abroad. It's like, oh, for these 2 weeks, I felt way better. Weird. But Jollibee is actual good. So if you can get to a Jollibee, would recommend. Get a chicken joint.
I feel like it was like the original marketing.
Sort of. I mean, like obviously
blow up thing.
It was, and
clearly whatever was original is the best. So Dota 2 and Popeyes.
Popeyes wasn't the original. Like, so your argument there is just like Chick-fil-A was probably the original chicken sandwich, and if you want to get your hate on, I guess go for it. But still amazes me that in the Atlanta Falcons Stadium there are Chick-fil-A's, which are not open on Sundays, which are when the Falcons play most of their home games.
It's just advertisement.
Pretty much. Okay, let's thank some patrons and get out of here because it's getting late. Well, it probably already is late, but whatever. Let's thank our associate producers. We have Andy, Syndra, Geeks first, Dr. Thorptopus, Sofsky, Heiner, Sleep Coma, Jumbo Chihuahua. Then our executive producers on up. We have Lance Good Thrust. We have Blaze Storm, valued member of the Patreon. Diana the Green Cosplayer, Charlie. We have our Possum supporter, the Delusian Data Analyst, and then our Chargers Chamber of Charcoal participants. These are the people that get to come on the show as listeners and usually make me regret it. We have Trevor Baker. No, not that one. That's my local, not the head of organized play. Polish guy, Rich, Matt, fucking get off your fucking ass and come back on the show. Brandon, John, man, that's gonna be an episode. And then El Dorte, the Hammer. I'm gonna try to make it to Switzerland when I'm in Europe in November so I can go see him because never met that one in person. I have met most of the other people on this Patreon in person. But if you're interested in becoming a member of the Patreon, go to patreon.com/fleshandpod. Links in the show notes. Pick a fucking tier. I really don't care. And then we'll probably send you shit. And if you're in a Chargers Chamber of Charcoal or the Ceiling Fan, which is our highest tier, then you get to come on the show and tell us we're wrong. If you need to contact us, you can send us an email, fleshandpod@gmail.com. You can find us on social media. Just search Flesh and Pod on BlueSky. It's at FleshPod, which is somehow not a porn site, on Twitter. And best thing to do, just come and just join the Discord. It's free. There's no, I have to like farm bots out of it all the time, but it's free, costs nothing. No, don't be a member of anything. Just come hang out. Talk shit in whichever channel you want to talk shit in. Sounds great. JMags, where can they find you? Can they find you anywhere? Is that possible?
Not really. I have
Perfect.
a Metafy, so
there you go. What's your Metafy?
It's just Jonathan Magnuson.
Okay, fine. You didn't...
See, this is how out of the loop I am. I don't know what I called my own Metafy, but I wrote a guide for each of my top 4 decks. So
great. I mean, you should definitely pimp that shit. Darick, where can they find you?
Don't. In the Discord.
Oh God, I'm not looking.
I posted something in Chuckles with Charmer recently.
I'm not looking. I have that channel muted for a reason. It's always awful. But that's our show for this week. JMags, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. It was a good time. I'd love to see you and Charmer, sound wrong. So that's always fun.
It's part of the bit.
Well, you got to commit to the bit.
Yeah.
If you don't commit to the bit, you're not doing anything.
You got to commit to the bit, man.
You got to commit to the bit. But again, thank you so much for listening. And yeah, we'll be back with, I guess, results and stories from Kansas City next week for episode 248, because why wouldn't we just keep doing this? I'd like to quit
Flesh and
someday.
Blood is fun.
I would like to quit someday. It's not, Flesh and Blood's fine. It's just doing this show for 247 weeks straight without a break is, exhausting. So,
I believe it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you don't know that pain. But again, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.